Charlie left me a note reminding me about the old days. Where are you, Charlie?
Right here.
The really old days that he can remember and a few of you can remember. So the really old days, I had a center in Koreatown. And we did exactly the same thing that we were doing here. And that was what was that? That was 25 years ago? Longer?
In the 70s.
Yeah. So it's downtown LA, and it's a long time ago. And we used to do exactly what we do. We'd sit in the new year. Every single new year we would do that. Except it was a lot more dramatic than we're going to get to experience. Because they hadn't yet outlawed the pistoleros. I think it's now illegal, right, to shoot off firearms in LA? Huh? They still do it. Well, it wasn't even illegal. It wasn't even discouraged. And we were right in the heart of downtown LA. And so what would happen is, yeah, I'd forgotten all about this till Charlie wrote that note, but Charlie and Judy remember. Anyone else go that far back to CMC? Not in this crowd, but yeah, Robert.
Not the New Year, but.
So what would happen is we do our set, and then you're in samadhi, and to some extent pretty mellow. You do your chant, and it was the same things, Mani Padme Hum, exactly the same, except what would happen during that half hour or so as you're approaching midnight is that the sonic activity around would escalate. Okay, it would just be like a few rounds here or there, and then it's like more and more and more and more until finally it's like the Battle of the Bulge. Semi-automatic weapons, and I mean next door, and I mean you can see the flash. Okay, and you can hear the sound of a semi-automatic weapon. It's not just like a gun or something. It's like, it's like crazy sounds, and we're just like totally. And the contrast was really, really cool. And it's like, well, like they say, it's good for your practice. So that was New Year's, back in the old days.
I was thinking of the daytime.
Yeah, the daytime was pretty crazy too. We were, that neighborhood it's Koreatown, it's right where Koreatown intersects with an El Salvadorian barrio. I don't know what the ethnic thing is now. And then you have a whole Chicano thing also going on. So, and it's downtown. So all of our retreats, every single retreat, all day, you could hear, you'd get the mariachis from one side, you'd get, the Koreans were very quiet, okay? But there were also a lot of Vietnamese, and so you'd get sort of the Sino-Vietnamese Peking opera kinds of sounds coming. There was always at least one florid schizophrenic person acting out on the corner. And you got the turf wars going on. They actually ended up blocking off our street with cement barriers eventually. People couldn't even come in, the LAPD, because it was such a hot drug selling area. And they were right on our front lawn. I mean, like literally on the front lawn. And you could hear the turf wars. People would get into fights. You'd be sitting and meditating, and it's like you would actually hear people like slugging each other. I'm gonna kill you, motherfucker! It's like, I'd forgotten about that. That's the way that's what you were remembering, right?
Don't you remember the Chinese Buddhist saying you used to remind us of?
Oh, yeah, I can guess what that was. Let me guess. I probably said, if you want a small enlightenment, go to the mountain. If you want a big enlightenment, come to the city.
That's it.
That is a Chinese proverb. I heard from one of the Chinese masters. So, yeah, so we used to meditate right in the middle of the city. And so it was a very different New Year's experience. Here, sometimes we hear a little, like, hooray, or something like that. If we're lucky, we get something from the neighbors. It's not like the old days. That was pretty cool, like the contrast. And also, it was really good because you learned that you didn't have to have silence in order to have deep practice. That's the beauty of the mindfulness. You could just recycle the reactions, and so that's what we used to do. What got a little bit difficult was a lot of people got their cars broken into, and usually I'd have to counsel someone after a retreat dealing with calling the cops, and those were the crazy days. Things are a lot more mellow now, so I guess we can appreciate that.